Welcome, welcome, filmmakers. Thank you for joining us for this Blackmagic Collective event where we're going to teach you how to color and resolve. And if you already know how to color and resolve, I want you to ask Josh the tough questions. Make them sweat. If you're here, let us know you're here by putting in the box where you're from and what do you do in the biz. We want you to say hello, and we can see that you're here, so I want to see some typing. We are Blackmagic Collective. If you haven't been here before, we're a collective of film and TV artists and crew. We meet regularly on the business and craft with education events that focus on the tech side. Membership is free. We also have initiatives that help you with your career. We have more programs coming up to help new filmmakers. So get in there, join. It's free, and sign up for the newsletter so you're the first to hear about everything. BMC Film Festival is accepting submissions. We pick one film a month that is our pick of the month, and then it moves forward to the finals. Or to the semifinals, and then in the finals, the final 10 screen live in LA. God willing, this November, and everything is free to submit, free to come to the event, free to eat, free to drink. And we give you big prizes like an Ursa Mini G2 last year and $1,000 and Blackmagic 6Ks. So go sign up, get your film in there if it's under 5 minutes. And thank you to our sponsor, Blackmagic Design. Without you, we couldn't do any of this. So you're awesome for always taking care of us filmmakers the way you do. Put your questions in the box as we go along. Josh will be doing a tutorial live, and then I will man the questions to try to help get those answered while we're going if you have any confusion. Love that you guys are all popping up. We got Christina Prado from New York City, a multi-hyphenate. Aren't we all these days? I feel like you can't just be one thing anymore, can you? James from Scotland, writer-director. Welcome from Scotland. Jackie in LA. David, Big Dave from LA. I love it. Actor, stuntman, VFX artist, editor, writer, producer. I'm really exhausted saying all those things. And I doubt that you're mediocre at all of them. That's great. Lucia, colors from Spain. Fab2 Productions from Berlin. They're just getting started with their filmmaking. I love it. I love it. I love that you guys are here. And welcome from Florida. Our Wilfred is a colorist from Holland. Wow. And Alexandra, thanks for being here from Brazil. Okay, I'm going to bring you guys the man of the hour, the reason you are here. So Joshua Miller, first of all. He is the founder and executive director of C&I Studios. Here he is. I want you guys to know something about Joshua, though. He started a small media company that was working out of his apartment. And he has grown C&I Studios to be a nationwide media company. They've got headquarters in South Florida. They're operating in Washington, D.C., New York, Los Angeles. They work with all kinds of clients, huge clients like Coke to small clients like yourself. And he is here to teach us color correction. No pressure.
Man, thanks so much. You did that really well. You should post things. Thanks. Thank you so much, guys. I'm so pumped to be here. Like Jen said, I mean, just, on behalf of our team, I just want to say thanks so much. My name is Josh Miller. I'm from C&I Studios. And yeah, we're a multimedia production company and ad agency. Like Jen was saying, yeah, we did start out in Washington, D.C., in the second bedroom of my apartment. And eventually we started to work really hard and we grew this company, and now we're flying all over. And I'm really excited to sit here with you guys. I'm actually on a plane to New York after this, but I'm really excited to sit with you guys and talk about some color stuff. So if we're ready to rock and roll, I'm ready to go.
Let's do it. And remember, everybody, put your questions in the box as we go. Kayla, our producer in the backstage, is going to put the link in case you haven't downloaded the files. And here we go.
All right, so guys, I'm just going to open up Resolve here, and let's get this party started. All right, so I'm on I guess the first thing to even talk about is I'm on the computer is everything, and the camera that you're working with is everything. I'm on a Mac Pro, and I'm in Fort Lauderdale right now. I'm on the studio version of Resolve, but I think the best thing that I like about Resolve, I mean, there's so many things. This is where you're coloring all your footage, no matter what editor you're using. But since Resolve, a while ago, opened up allow editing, this is where we transitioned. I'm an old school Final Cut guy, just so you know. And after Final Cut 7, may she rest in peace. After that, went away, we transitioned fully to Resolve. And so we're going to get started with this fashion project that I got some footage for you guys. So if you're looking at my screen, we sent some files. If your files have this RDM folder here, like some of your files may have this RMD folder here. If they do have that, feel free to just go ahead and delete those files. that's going to bake in some color, and we want to make sure we start with raw media. So yeah, the coolest thing about Resolve is that it's free. If you can't afford it, it's free. You go to the website, you download it. There's a free version, and the studio version is $2.99, so it's nothing compared to the $50 a month from you know who. So let's just get started. I'm going to throw this footage here. Yeah, you can do this many ways. I made a few bins. I'm just going to throw this footage right into Resolve, and then I'm going to bring it right down into my timeline. So I got you guys these clips. I'll show them to you here in just a second. So I've got this is a project that we did, I believe in Miami. I'm not sure. So here we go. I think it's about like 12 or so clips. I think the biggest thing to look at and to remember is, where your footage came from and understanding, what kind of camera it is. And there's a few ways to do it. But you might make sure you want to talk to your DP or whoever shot it, and so that how it was shot, if it was shot in log, if it was shot in raw, if it was shot in ProRes. All that stuff is like really important as you start to color it, so you know how far you can push the limits of your footage. This was shot raw on a red Monstro, so there's going to be a lot of detail that we're going to be able to do with this footage. So let's just go ahead and get started. I think one of the coolest things is really seeing this raw image. Like, it feels washed out. It's what Canon people refer to as log. It's what we refer to as log. And it's the base of where you really want. It's the base of where you really want to start. At the bottom of my screen down here, in the info section, where I'm at down here, I can see what type of camera and all the metadata that I'm using, which is really helpful to me. And so I can kind of tell where I'm started. As I'm in Resolve, it's a node-based structure, which is really important. The files that I gave you guys will just drag right onto your timeline, but they are red files, so you kind of need a beefy computer to play them. Or you can do a couple things. First, if you go right up top to playback, you can come down here to timeline proxy mode, and you can bring down to quarter resolution, and that'll be a lot easier than playing the full res clips. Resolve even has down here, if I can go in here to my options menu here, I can hit camera raw. I can go to a bunch of different cameras. I'm on red, and then I can take this from full res. I can go down to 1/16. So even if you have a slow laptop, you could play this footage. And so you can kind of find the one that works perfectly for your playback. And then we could go ahead and get started. Resolve is node based. And so I'm just hitting I'm hitting Option S here, and I'm just making a bunch of different nodes. Every node, the best thing to do as we build them, and we're going to build a bunch of nodes, is where I'm hitting Option S. We're making nodes. Every adjustment that I'm going to make is going to be its own node. So we're going to usually leave the first node empty. We're going to label our nodes, and then we're going to start to build this project. So the first thing that we do is I'm going to start a node here. This one, again, the first one I'm going to leave empty. The reason you want to leave it empty is because you want to see and see your adjustments each step that you make, which is a really big deal. So there's a few ways to go about this. I'll show you the first one, which is really cool. That comes within the free version of Resolve. If you go over to your LUT section, Resolve gives you a bunch of film LUTs, which is really awesome. So if you're trying to get really quick, I can go over here to, I'm just going to pick, as you can see, I'm scrubbing over some of these different LUTs. You can see all the difference. You can see the footage completely transform, the moment that I'm on it. You can find one. It's a great base. And again, those come right with it, which is really cool. I can right click and I can say, apply this LUT, and now this LUT is right on this node. But what I'm going to do with you guys is just show you how to build it from. Yes.
We're getting questions about this because the screen is so small. Is there any way to zoom into parts if possible? And I also think that some people might be newer, so you can actually take it slower.
Take it a bit slower.
Yeah.
No worries. About the zoom, I'm not too sure if I can zoom this screen in.
Okay.
Not really sure on that one. But I can take it slower.
Great.
Okay. All right. So one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this one here. Node labels are really important. I'm just going to kind of call this one empty. My next node here is, I'm going to call this one the curve. and then we could start, and then I'm going to do one more.
So when you're typing, they can't actually see what you're typing. So if you could be very descriptive about exactly where you're clicking things. There's also been suggestions that if you were able to make your display size 1080 in the control panel, that they might be able to
Let me see if
better.
let's see if I can change that up, and that may help you. Give me 1 second.
Massive screen you have.
Yeah, this is a 6K screen, so it's a big boy. Let's see if this will help. I may have to restart Resolve. Let's see if she'll take. Yeah, let's see. This is a lot bigger. This is a lot bigger for you guys, I think. Let's see here. Let's see if I can just reset it here. Bum 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 bum. All right. And then let's go primary on this one. Let's see. Hopefully that should be a little bit better. Yeah.
I think maybe it's slightly better. And I also think that everybody who's following along, if you have your Resolve open, Josh can dictate exactly where he's going and clicking.
Yeah,
they're jealous of your large screen.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Hey, man, this is one of the new 6K Retinas. It is amazing. It's an awesome screen to use. I'm gonna kind of go back and kind of show you guys where I am.
Yes, and also remember, some of these might be real beginners. So like even like James asks, what is a node? So like really just kind of start from scratch on this one. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So it's basically like, let me just reset this. It's really like your nodes are basically where each of your adjustments are going to go. I think if you're I'll go back to my editor here. If you're coming from like Final Cut or Adobe, you're used to taking all of your effects and just dragging them right onto the clips and kind of adjusting them in the clips. Resolve has it set up where this is kind of where you do all of your editing here in your timeline. And then you're going to move over to color, and then you're going to make all of your adjustments on your clips in nodes. And so it's very similar to layers. And so I'm going to hit Option S. That makes me a new serial node. So each node I make is going to be a different adjustment that I'm going to do to this clip of this guy kind of in blue. So, and so let's just say this first node is the curve. I'm going to right click that. And I'm going to hit the first one that says node label. I'm labeling them all because eventually I'm going to have a lot of them, and then I won't know what each of them are. And then also, if you're working with teams, if you're passing the project on to somebody else that's finishing it, they can know exactly what they can know exactly what your adjustments were. So I'm going to call this one the curve. All right. So now that I called it the curve, I just right clicked. I hit node label. I just wrote the word curve here. Now I'm going to go down to this curve window right here. Got a bunch of different adjustments here. I'm going to do a basic S curve on this. You can see the straight line. I'm going to grab it down here, and you can see as it starts to adjust as I move this down. This is a basic S curve where you're kind of grabbing up here, and you're going to kind of throw the contrast back up here. And you can see I'm going to go extreme so you can see what it can do. You're kind of just going to park it where you feel like you got a good adjustment here. Now that I did that adjustment, I can kind of see what I did if I hit Command D. So Command D takes that off, and I can see what was it like before. I hit Command D again, and I can see what is it like now. So that's Command D. Little punch. I'm going to add another serial node. I'm going to hit Option S again. Now I made another one. You notice that they're all kind of linked, so it's kind of saying, it's letting me know what I'm doing before and after. I'm going to call this one. I'm going to add another one here, and I'm going to call this one the gain. I'm now going down here to my primaries. All the Resolve controls are kind of down in this bottom left section. So now gain is going to work over the overall exposure. I can just take this wheel up. You see the image getting brighter. I'm kind of going to try to take it really crazy so you can see how far it can go. I'm going to scale it on back to where it looks right. That looks pretty cool. Leave it around there. Then here I'm going to take, you can see I'm hitting that Command D again. Each thing I'm going to see what was I doing. I can see what the curve is doing. I can see what the gain is doing. I can see on his head is a little kind of blown out. I'm going to bring that back a little bit for the back of his head. So that looks pretty good there. And I'm just going to move this clip here so you can see what the clip is looking like here. Next thing we may want to do here is we may want to pop this sky color a bit, make it even more blue. You can do that a bunch of ways. One of the easiest ways, I'm going to make another node. I'm hitting Option S. I'm going to label this node sky.
A quick question from Rhyme. Where
Sure.
you have the thumbnails of the clips above the wheels represents the different clips on the timeline, question mark?
Yeah. So it shows me a couple different things. Here I can show the timeline. I'm off of that. So this is the timeline here. And that represents the same timeline that I'm here in the Edit tab. So those cuts, this whole timeline that I see here, I'm going to go back in color. That's what this blue line is here. And you can see it's highlighted in red, so I can see the clip that I'm on. As I move to the next clip, it highlights to that one, and so on. Above that, so I can scrub through the timeline this way in the color workspace, or I can go from clip to clip and just select them this way by clicking the clips. And you can turn those off. Like say you don't want the clips, I can hit this clip button in the top. That makes all the clips appear. If you just want to work timeline, or if you just want to work clips and not the timeline, you could take the timeline off and now you could just go clips. I like to use both of them. It's up to you. Resolve makes it pretty easy for you guys kind of customize your windows and your workspace. So you kind of see it however you want. So yeah, let's pop that sky. I'm going to do it a couple ways. I can go back to this curve node. One of these, you could probably see these little buttons. They're little dots right above the curve. So there's a bunch of different ones. This one is hue versus hue. This is hue versus sat. Hue versus luminance. Luminance versus saturation. Saturation versus saturation. And saturation versus luminance. So there's a bunch of these. I won't get into all of them. One you want to use a bunch is probably going to end up being your hue versus your hue versus your saturation. So I'm going to click on that one here. You can kind of see which one I'm on here in this drop down. So you can use this drop down menu to get there, or you can use these little buttons. Down here, there's a little picker. I can click this guy in the bottom left-hand corner. And now I'm just going to see, it's going to tell me I'm choosing what color do I want to manipulate. I'm going to pick this color right here. As I click it, you could see that these 5 dots down here at the bottom appeared. And it's saying, hey, you just chose this range of blue. That's what you picked. And from that range of blue, I can pick the one in the center and I can just push this blue up and you can see that blue is getting super blue. Or you can pull it down and take out the blue and say, now it feels like there is nothing. So I'm gonna push that blue up just a tad bit.
Hey, Josh.
Yes.
This is John from The Secret Background. Some of the people are seeing clips that aren't flat, so it's like it's got a pre-selected LUT on it. Can you tell them how to look at it flat initially?
Yeah. So if your clip looks a little flat, let me pull this up. You may have
Actually, they see
in
it
the files
colored, not flat. Yeah.
So if you see it looking colored, what you want to do is open up the footage that we sent. You're going to go down and you're going to see 2 files in each of these. I want to make this kind of clearer here. So you see an R3D file and you see a RDM file. That RMD file has baked in color. So it's a preset look. So you can just go ahead and delete this. I'll right click this and hit move to trash.
Kayla, can you drop the link in again? Because if they download now, those files are not in there anymore.
So yeah, our bad on putting those in there, guys. But yeah, I'm just gonna basically, you go through these RMD files, just get rid of them. That has some preset color that you don't need. And this will get you at a good starting place. So I'm just gonna delete these guys. I'm gonna open up a bunch of them here. And then there you go. And I'll move these into Resolve one more time. So I'm just highlighting all these RMD files and then delete them. You don't need them. So that is how you'll start with flat images. once you have these images like this, I'm going to close these folders up. Then I'm going to go back to my edit tab. Open up my Finder window once more. With Resolve, you can just take these clips in the windows and you can just drag it right onto the timeline just like that. That's all you got to do. So once you got the RMDs out, you can even highlight all of these guys if you want, and then drag all of them right down to the timeline and they'll appear just like that. And then now you've got that nice flat footage. All right. So let's hop back in.
And as you're moving on, we have another node question. Christine wants to know if the clips were similar and you wanted to use the same nodes, could you just copy them over to the next clips?
Yeah, that's a great question. Christine, you are obviously a smart person. Resolve, like once you build all of this, let's just say, let's take it for where we already are. So all we just did 3 basic adjustments. And let's just say I wanted to put those same adjustments on this next clip. I just clicked the next clip and I said, hey, I want all the adjustments from this one onto this one. There's a few ways you can do that in Resolve. I'll show you 2 ways. The first one is you could just press the equal sign. If I press the equal sign, it's going to take all the color from the previous clip and put it on the next clip. And you can see those nodes in this section right here, they just appeared. So again, I'm just taking the color, I'm pressing the equal sign, all those same adjustments appeared. So that's a cool way to do it. It probably won't translate really well because this clip is different, but if I went from this clip to this clip, it would translate pretty well. So there's another way to do it. I'll take this clip here again. Let's just say we wanted to save this. Say I had a bunch of clips with this guy and all in the same location. I could go here to workspace. Let's see, sorry, I'm going over to color. All right, and I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna go down to memories and I can load a memory. So memories go into the gallery and I'm gonna open this down so you guys can see them. This is my little gallery. You can see I've saved a couple of them in here. You can save a bunch of them, but I can go to color and then I can hit memories and then I can hit load memory A. Or, I'm sorry, I'm gonna hit save memory A first. That's gonna save it. So, or I can hit option 1. So I'm just gonna hit save memory A and you can see it's saved right up here in this top left. That color is there. So now that I have it saved, I can apply that color wherever I want. It's not gonna translate, but just for this example, I can take memory A and now I can go up here, I can go to color, I can go back down to memories and I can hit load memory A and it'll apply it, or I can hit command 1. So I've got it saved. I'm hitting command 1 and now those same options that I did originally are there as well. I can take all of these as well. I can highlight all of my clips by holding down command. I'm just taking all of my clips and then I can still go to memories here and I can hit load memory A and it's going to put that color on every single clip. So you can really fly through color once you get through them like that. The last way is once I've saved that memory, I can also right click this and hit apply grade. So if I'm on this clip here, I can go up here and I can right click and I can apply that grade directly to this clip. And now you can see that's hit here. So they won't really translate well because they're not really made for that, but we're gonna work on a few that will. So so it's really cool. And yeah, so every node is really like its own adjustment. And so you can go through here again. I'm command D to on off, just on off everything that I did. I'm seeing with the sky, without the sky. So you can really check out every adjustment that you made. I'm gonna add another serial node and I'm gonna come down here to saturation. If I turn the saturation up, it's gonna adjust my global saturation of the entire clip, not selectively. So I can take down the saturation all the way down to, to nothing and it's black and white. And I can start bringing the saturation up of the entire clip. So now I've got a pretty good clip here. Looks really nice. And I can save that in this memory here if I ever want to use it again. And that saves up here in this gallery. That's where they all store. I can move these around too. And then I can clear them out if I don't want them anymore. So let's go on to my next clip. That one's looking really nice. We did a good job on that one. I'm gonna delete our nodes here because we added a few. So this clip, I got some sun flare going on. This clip moves through really nice. So I'm gonna start basically from scratch again. I'm gonna show you guys a different way you can move this footage, which is really interesting. All right, so I'm gonna make a new node. This time I'm gonna open up the OpenFX. OpenFX are really cool. Resolve has a bunch of built-in effects that you can use. I mean, I'm just looking at some of these here that are, 3D keyer, lens flare, reflections, beauty, noise reduction. I mean, there's just a lot that comes with Resolve, which is pretty cool. And so just the quick down and dirty version of using one. If I wanted to use one, I make another node. I can call this node, let's just say if I wanted to call it sharpen, I'm just doing this as a test. I can right click, I'm hitting node label. I'm gonna call this sharpen. And then I'm just gonna drag the sharpen effect right on there. And you can see my footage got really sharp and crazy. And then I can start going over here in my inspector and I can increase the sharpness, I can decrease it. I can use all these presets to really fine detail it the way that I want. What we're gonna do is try to go for more of a film look. I'm gonna scroll this back to a part that I kind of feel like I really wanna color. We call these hero frames. When you're coloring, the footage is obviously not moving, so you wanna find a place that really represents the whole clip. You call that the hero frame. I think this is a pretty good hero frame, and I'll leave it here as we start to color it. I'm gonna add a serial node here. I'm gonna right click and add a node label. This is gonna be my conform. And Resolve has a really cool effect here called color space transform. I'm gonna take this one, drag it on here. All right. So this one is basically analyzing what camera I'm using. So it's saying, what's your input color space and your output color space. It's got a bunch of other really complicated things in here that we don't really need to get into. But you can see here on my input color spaces, it's looking for what camera that you've used. And so your camera may be in here. It's got Panasonic's, Blackmagic's, of course, red, dragon color. This is what space it was recorded in. For this one, for this clip, we're gonna choose red wide gamut RGB. You can already see the footage start to change. And the output color space, you can scroll down and see where you're at. You can try a bunch of different ones that appeal to you. And then you can kind of mess around here and see where you want them to be. Like if you wanted to try Rec 709, a lot of, you can see where that is, a lot of screens use Rec 709, but this gives you a base to really start your conform, and it instantly kind of gets you there a little quicker. From there, I mean, we put one node on this thing and it's already singing. Basically what that is doing is it's taking this log footage, this raw footage, and it's saying, hey, make this footage that was shot in red wide gamut, put that to Rec 709. And already you're pretty close, which looks really nice. So let's dive into a little bit more. This next node I made, Option S on that guy, I'm gonna hit node label. I'm gonna call this temp and tint. I'll put a dash here, tint. We spend a lot of time down here. The temp and tint are down here again in your primaries. The temperature here, I can, you can see a little color. It's blue is cooler. The orange is a lot warmer. And you kind of see, you know, your look is going to be really based off of what you want. I want to warm this up. So I'm going to grab this, click on it, and I'm going to drag to the right. I'm going to overdo it so you can see what that does. I'm overdoing it. Now she's in hell. I'm bringing it back. I'm going to go to the complete opposite side. She's underwater. If you've overdone it, you know, it's really great to hit this reset. You can come right here on any of the wheels and reset it back to where you were. I'm just going to warm it up a bit. Not by much, just a bit. Just punch it up a bunch. That's nice. I'm going to hit another node. I'm going to label it. Call this one a curve. I'm going to go back to my curves here. Come down to my first one, a custom curve. I'm going to pull this down just a bit, get some of that saturation off. You can see the difference of what you're doing there. I'm just pulling it down just a bit. You can see I can really crush the blacks and crush her hair. I'm bringing it up so you can still see the details within her hair. But give it a little bit of nice contrast to kind of separate her. It's looking really nice there. It's a cool one. As we did before, I'm going to hit, again, another node. I'm going to label this one Sky, if I can type. I'm going to come back down, like just as we did before. I'm going to find my color picker. I'm going to hit this blue area. That's what we want. It shows me that it's blue. I'm popping that part of the sky. It's cool because it allows me just to select that, just that part. I'm just going to go through that clip again. Now we're really singing. Now we're really making something that looks really cool. All right, so now that I think that this part looks really great, I'm gonna go to this next clip. These are in a sequence. So this shot connects to this walking shot. We're in the same location. So I'm gonna highlight on my next clip. I'm just gonna hit the equal sign. And then all that color has come over and it gives me a nice place to start. I don't even have to do the work again. This one, she's walking towards the camera here. I can hit equal sign again. Boom. Takes all the work that I did on the first node, just applies it. I'm going to delete that just so you guys can see another thing here. Equal sign takes, the equal button takes the color from the previous clip. The dash or the hyphen takes the color from the clip, 2 clips before it. So from this one. So it's a cool way. I'll show you right up here in color. It's right here. You can apply grade from 1 clip prior with the equal sign, and you can apply grade from 2 clips prior with the hyphen or the dash. That works really cool. And then don't forget, once you have a really cool piece of color that you feel like you did it really great, we can go up here to galleries again. We can hit option 2, or we can come here down to memories and say save to memory B. Now we've saved that color, so we have it locked in just in case as we go. We built a really good one, so we're going to keep going. So I'm going to hit the dash sign. It's going to take the color from 2 clips prior. That's looking really good there. Feel like we got a really good clip here. Resolve has a few things that I think are really cool too. We shot with the red on this one. So I'm gonna park it like right about here. And Resolve also lets you save stills. So if at any point I think, hey, this is a really cool frame and I want this as a still, I can right click it here and hit grab still. That still just showed up right here. It still moves. It also can be used as a grade, but it saves them all. I can go back here to this one and I can say, let's see, I think this shot looks really cool right there. Oh, he's not in, his glasses aren't in focus. Let me bring it back here. That looks cool. Let me right click, grab that still. Now I got a still of that too. I'm gonna come here to my next clip here. When she was walking, I thought that looked great right here with the sun coming in. I can grab a still there. So these are stills that you can then take and use in whatever, web, social. It's from a red, so super high res. I'm gonna highlight all of these. I can right click them, and then I can hit export with display LUT. So it's saying, hey, export this with the color that I've already got on here. And it up here, it's, you know, I can name them all, and I can say this is Blackmagic Collective. I can save it to my desktop or wherever I want. I could then go down here and choose what kind of file that I want. I'm going to say, let's just make this a JPEG. And then I'm going to hit export. It's super quick. I'm going to hide this resolve screen, and you can see it gave me a few files. It gave me my JPEGs. It also gave DRX files. I don't need the DRX files. I'm going to delete these DRX files. And you can see I can open up those clips, open up these images, and there we go. Now I've got stills. I can take these JPEGs. I can airdrop them to my phone. I can send them, put them on social media. I can do whatever I want with them. So you can save those. That's a really cool thing. As a colorist, this is a really cool feature that you're using when you're trying to get the client or the DP to approve color. So you're asking them like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that one? And you're saving a bunch of stills to be able to show them different colors. So I think that's pretty cool. All the basics of conforming it, your temp and temperature and your curves, that's gonna be the baseline. And your gain and your gamma, that's your baseline of how we're gonna color everything. So let's move into the studio. These were on location, these were outside. Let's go ahead and move into the studio. Let's see here, we got a couple studio clips here that are pretty cool. And I'm just clicking on the clips. I can drag it up here in this timeline, or I can move it down here on my timeline here. Let's work with this clip a lot. I think this is a cool hero shot here. We can park it right there. I'm gonna take off the color that we accidentally applied from earlier. And we can start looking at this clip. I mean, the key to all great color is having great footage to start with. And so while you do your best, you're also not a magician. Let's get started. I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna conform this clip again. I'm gonna write conform. I'm going over my color space transform, that's really cool. There's a bunch of these. I mean, again, you can use LUTs. Just to show you that one more time, you know, if I go here to LUTs, these are stuff that Blackmagic already gave us for free because they're great. And I can just hit this, I mean, this LUT here. You can see without it, and I'm just right over it. And already you can see, look how close we got already. You can really mess with these, you know, to see which one really fits your style. So LUTs is you see this one's obviously more sharpened, more contrasted. We can start there if you want. You can still mess around with them, but it's a really fast way to down and dirty get some quick, really awesome results. They give you a bunch of them, I don't know, maybe 20 of them or so, and you kind of figure out the one that really works really well for you. Down here is film looks. I can come down here to some popular film looks, some film stocks. So this is, you know, this is Kodak. This is another really popular one. You can see it's grading the footage for you to give you so many interesting looks. This is all artistic at this point. It's like what you want to make it. So we're going to go from scratch, but you guys can always use these guys. And there's a bunch over here. And Resolve is cool because you can add more LUTs. You can get them online. You can use there's different places online where you can get them, which are really cool. But we're going to start from scratch. I'm going to bring over my color space transform. I shot this on a red, so I'm going to go red, white, gamut. And I'm going to bring this one to, a Rec 709. And that's doing the conform for me. There's another really cool, there's one really cool conform software that I really like. It's called Film Convert, and you can load that into Resolve. This is it right here. It's called Film Convert. I can throw that guy on there. It's doing the same thing for me. It's a really cool, very easy to use LUT. It asks me what camera I'm using. You can really kind of choose between the ones you want. They've done the hard work for you. I'm gonna go down here, choose the settings that I shot my camera with, and instantly I'm already there. So that's another option. So you've got LUTs you can find online like Film Convert. You've got LUTs over here and film looks that you can apply. You can start from scratch. Film Convert is cool because it's a LUT that you can actually control. So I don't have to leave it here. I can change how much the curve is on it. I can change how much, I can change how much film colors on it. I can really get it and make it really shine. That's a plugin that you have to pay for. I want to show you guys stuff that I know you can use, without anything. And so this here, I'm going to go down here again. I'm going to choose red, white, gamut. Come back here, Rec 709. Label my node. This is going to be my conform. I'm going to make another one here. I'm going to call this one my curve. I'm going to hit my curve here again. You can see where you can see it kind of breaking up here. Really just to where you feel like it works for your eye. I'm punching this top S curve up, making that contrast there really nice. Speaking of contrast, I'm going to make a new node here, and I'm going to label it contrast to show you guys that. In my primaries wheels again, I can come down here. I've got a bunch of options. I got temp, I got tint, I got contrast, pivot, mid details, luminous, hue, saturations, highlights, shadows, color boost. There's a lot. Contrast, I'm going to pick this up. I'm just going to increase it there by clicking and dragging. I can see that we're getting a little bit darker. I'm going to add another node here. Call this gain. Come down to my gain tab and really get this guy going. Make that sing. That looks really nice. Since I can feel that her skin tone is a little warm, I'm gonna call this, I made a new serial node. I'm hitting Option S. I'm making a node label and I'm gonna call this one Blue Shadow. So in this one, as you can see, we're getting a lot of nodes here on this one. I'm gonna bring this one back. This is my Blue Shadow. I'm gonna come down here in the wheels, but I'm gonna change this one to log. And you can see now it's changed here to shadow, midtone, highlights, and offset. I'm doing that right here. I got wheels, got bars, all these different options to color, and I'm in log. What I want to do is I want to change the shadows. So the shadows right now is this kind of brown color. I can, whatever I'm here in this little shadow circle, whatever, I can take this little picker here, and whatever color I start putting it to, that's what's going to change the color of the shadow. So I can move it here. You can see the shadows is moving to purple. Now it's moving to green. I'm going to kick it down here into this blue shadow because I know she's a bit warmer. Again, if I did it too much or I messed up, I can hit this reset right here. And I'm just going to pick this again and move it slightly to blue. And you can really see that really look really nice. If your screen's a bit small, sometimes I hit Command F a lot and I can full screen it and just see where we're at. Once I'm full screen, I can still take the clip and I can bring it back and take a look at it. So I can park it there. I'm hitting Command F to come out of full screen. I'm back to where I was. I feel like it's a bit green, so I'm going to stick it over to a bit blue more. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. I'm going to come back to my gain here. I'm going to move back to my wheels and pump this up a little bit more. Looking quite good there. Now we're gonna touch her skin just a bit. If I zoom in here, I can see that we can take some of the detail in the skin down. A lot of the skin detail is in the midtones. So I'll show you what this kind of looks like. I'm gonna make a new node here. I'm gonna call this skin. I'm gonna use my qualifier here. I'll click this guy right here. And then I wanna see it's asking me, like, like what do you want to touch? I want to fix this. And as I'm doing that, I can press this little guy here and see what I'm actually selecting. And now it's like you're making it so I only want to select her skin. I don't want to select anything else, or hair, or anything like that. So now you can see this node even looks a little weird. It's gray. It's just showing me what I actually selected was everything that looks like her skin. So this one's just quick and dirty. You can do this a lot better. Now that I've selected her skin, I'm gonna go back to my primaries here. And then this one here, mid-tone details, that's where all some skin correction is. This is a really quick skin correction. So if I grab this guy and I start moving it down, you're gonna see a bunch of the mid-tone detail go away. If you see, I can bring it all the way up and you can see a lot more extra mid-tone detail comes back up. I can hit my wheels here and just reset that to the beginning. I'm just gonna move that down some. And you can really see the difference in her skin here. I'll overdo it just so you guys can see that, and then zoom in here. So you can take a look right here and you can see how smooth this area is. I'm gonna Command D it so you can see what it's really doing. You can see it's breaking up on her lips, so I'm overdoing it now, but we'll scale that back. A next little trick with mid-tone details is adding blur to it. So this little guy here is the sharpen and blur. You can kind of tell if I blur that up, then it really smooths it out. That's sharpen. If I go all the way down, it's gonna make it really, really sharp. If I go all the way up, it's gonna make it really, 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 really soft. I can hit my reset here to come back to the beginning. Blur that up a bit and bring it back to 100, see what we're looking like. I can hit Command D again to see what am I doing. It's a really cool adjustment there. Going back to my blue shadow, kicking that up a bit. And that's a really cool image that we got so far. Helped her skin out a little bit. She didn't need much help. She looks great. It's a really cool image there. This one's cool. We're gonna save it again. I'm gonna go to my gallery. I think that was really great. We're gonna save this to Option C. I'm gonna go to my color, come down to memories. I'm gonna save this to save memory C. There we go. Now I got that one. Now I got that one for the future. That one looks really cool. Let's take this guy here that we just did. Now we're in another clip. And then we can apply the same stuff. You can really start to get so much faster the more memories you save. And the faster you learn your keyboard commands and your keyboard strokes, it really starts to move really well. So yeah, I'm gonna apply this here. I load that in C. I'm gonna hit Command 3, and that's gonna apply right there. So you can see I'm already close. I could fix it up a bit more, but it really starts to make the work so much faster.
And Josh, Christine says, and that still affects only the selected color, correct? Question mark.
Yeah.
The sharpening and blurring.
Yeah. So that's only that, and that's the beauty of working with nodes. So it's only going to affect what you're telling it to affect. So it's only going to affect the actual skin. So since we put the blur on the skin node, it's only going to touch that. Now, if I made a node here, let me go back to my hero frame here, somewhere around here. If I make another node here, and then if I just go back to my blur here, and I just do it, it's gonna blur everything. Or it's gonna add sharpness to everything. But since we did our qualifier, and we selected her skin first, it's only gonna do that to the parts of her skin that we wanted it to do it to. Resolve also made that a little bit easier on us. I'm going to go into this clip here. I'm going to apply that same memory from before. I'm going to hold off on this node for now. Actually, let me bring all these back for now because I want to show you guys this. It's great feature and resolve. That makes even what we just did a lot easier. Let's park that here. Something right there. I think that's pretty cool. Let's find a little hero frame here. Looks pretty cool. I'm just looking at the light hit her face. That looks pretty cool there. I'm going to drop these nodes just so you guys can see them real quick. I'm going to make another node. I'm going to go up top. This is a great one from Resolve. It's called Face Refinement. If I grab this guy and throw it on there, it's going to ask me to analyze it. It's going to analyze this clip. It can take a little bit of time depending on your computer. I'm going to hit Analyze here. It's just going to process through. You see, it puts a little mask over her face, and as I hit Analyze, it's just analyzing just her face. It's a pretty cool way. It takes a little bit of time, but the results are really cool. And it's just picking it up. So sometimes when you save face refinement for last because it takes a little bit, you go get a cup of coffee. But the results from it are really cool. So now it's just analyzing her face. You can see that it's only making a mask on her face. You can do this with multiple people in the frame. It works really well. And it's just tracking it too. It's just really saving yourself a ton of time in Resolve. It's not perfect all the time, but it's pretty good. Now that it's finished, I'm gonna go back to a little hero frame. Over here, there's something that says show overlay. That's the mask. I can take that mask right off of her face. I'm gonna kind of zoom in here. And now I can really mess around with where she is here. I'm gonna give myself a little more room here. Get rid of my clips for a second and my timeline. Give myself some more room. All right. So now, as I've got this, I've got some operating modes. I got beauty automatic. I got smoothing. I got beauty advanced. You can really go for it. I'm gonna bring it back to beauty automatic. That's the easiest. You can start to really move these things up, and you can see the adjustments that it's hitting on her face already. And then you can choose the scale in which you want it to do, which I think is pretty cool. You can really mess around with this and get it really, really nice.
Josh, I hate to end this because you've given us so much info, but we have a lot of questions I wanted to get through. So
let's get in them. We can do some quick questions.
So starting with Fab 2 Productions, how can I create and export my own LUT to use on set with external monitor?
Awesome. That's a really cool.
I'll say if any of these are too complicated to explain in the short time we have, we can email them.
That one's a little complicated, but you can do it. You can export all the LUTs here. If you made one, like we've made so many today, you can export them out. They're really cool. Like you can export a 3D LUT, which is really great. And you can take these 3D LUTs as a cube, 16 base or 32 base, and you can load them right into your camera if your camera allows that. We could definitely send a quick link to how to do that, but it's super easy.
Great. And then got this, bro. How can you see scopes and waveforms if your monitor isn't calibrated? Any thoughts on that?
I mean, you're gonna want to I can come down here. You're gonna want a calibrated monitor. You can see your scopes down here. We didn't get into a lot of that today. Seeing your parade and your waveform. You're going to want to get a calibrated monitor. Look, even if you don't have a calibrated monitor, like just start. And then also you could also get, you can start out really basic and get a spider, and it can start to do some, they make little calibration kits, and you can do that. But I think the biggest thing is just like really start. But the waveforms, really start to help you, show you where your white and your blacks are, and when your color, where that is. So you can start to grade based off of your waveforms, even without having a great monitor.
Sylvia says, can you talk about the importance of input color space and DaVinci YRGB color managed setting? That sounds like Spanish to me. I meant nothing.
Yeah, that really, this is the input color space. It's a really big deal. It just really needs to know what kind of camera you shot it with. Usually more of the cinema line cameras have that. So, you're going to be able to, If you're using a Canon camera, you're going to want to use this. If you're using a Blackmagic camera, a pocket camera, you're going to use one of these guys. If you're using an ARRI Alexa, you want to use one of those. Basically, it's saying, hey, what raw format did I use, and what do you want me to turn it into? But yeah, that's good. This is your friend. That's your basic where you want to start.
Jay Brooks, I have a Blackmagic Pocket Cam 6K, got Resolve with the camera. I want to build a PC to edit. What specs do you recommend for editing in Resolve? And most of us are Mac people. Are you a PC or Mac person?
I'm a Mac person, of course. Sorry to any PC people out there. But no, I would just say Resolve is RAM hungry. Whatever your budget can allow, go for it. But again, you have so many of these different proxy settings as you get down here in your options menu. So Resolve's going to be able to play anything, and you can scale it up, scale it back. Even in your Blackmagic RAW, you can pull it down. So even on the baseline computer, like a base iMac, you could be able to play the same footage that I'm playing today. So I wouldn't say go crazy, but if you have the budget, spend it in RAM for sure.
This is a great question. So James Rose, first off, he wants to say it was great to watch an F1 driver take a lap. Thank you for doing this today. He's working on his first feature film, which is a micro budget project.
Oh, cool.
Congrats, James. That's awesome.
Yeah.
He says, is it possible or advisable to do all of your post in Resolve? If so, what percent of feature films are completed this way? Yes. Talk about that.
Yeah. I mean, Resolve to me is the best. Resolve is one of the industry standards in color. Hollywood films use Resolve for color. It is one of the industry standards. So for me, it made no sense to color in Adobe Premiere and then have to, do an XML into Resolve, relink everything, and then go there. To me, it makes so much sense. I didn't talk about the collaborative feature either, but Resolve has this enable collaboration right here that if you're working with a team and you're all in the same building, you can actually all be working on it at the same time. Your audio mixer can be mixing, your colors can be doing it. But yeah, there's quite a few films. I couldn't put you on a percentage that all use Resolve to edit and use Resolve to color. I would say it's still probably around it's probably pretty low, maybe 10-20% that do it all the way. On the color side, I would say probably about 60-70% of films use color for Resolve. But that's just because there's a bunch of old dudes that are still using Avid.
Yeah, and as someone who I still edit an FCP myself, I'm doing X, but I do love that Resolve. You can edit and then go right into your color and your sound and your effects. Like everything is in the same workspace. And I've had so much trouble taking stuff sometimes from Final Cut to someone who's coloring Resolve. It's a nightmare. So not always, but
it's easy to. Yeah, not always, but it's easy to stay in the same workflow. I mean, you can definitely. The cool thing about Resolve, if you're in Final Cut X, if you're in Adobe Premiere, if you're in Avid, you can XML out all of that. You can input an XML, into Resolve, and that's what this is, importing media from XML. You could take that out, throw it right into there. So it works with everything. But if you're starting out, it's easier to go in one place and stay there. So
yes. And especially when you're doing it all yourself, which I understand on a micro budgets. Gadali says it was really great for the post team to be all in the same app because they just worked on a feature that used Resolve for edit, VFX, and color. Fab2 says they edit and color grade in DaVinci and they love it. The speed editor is amazing. And back on the PC question, Darren says Resolve is graphics card heavy. Spend money on the graphics card. Any final questions before we let Joshua get out of here? Jay says, yes, film schools are teaching Avid Media Composer and preaching it's the industry standard.
Dude,
yeah,
I bet. You can use anything, man. You can use anything. But Resolve for me, and I guess a bunch of other people here, I really think it's the future. They're updating the software so much, keeping with the times. No other software is really pushing out so many different features like Resolve. So I think ultimately, over time, it's really going to take over.
And like Alexandra says, Resolve is a free version that's almost complete. That's the part that blows my mind, is it's free. Uni has a quick question. How do you color isolation? How do color isolation or selective? How do you do color isolation or selective grading? Is it easier on Premiere or Resolve? I don't know. I kind of lost what I was asking.
Yeah. I think it's easier in Resolve. You can use your qualifier and you can just start to pick whatever color you want and then manipulate it. I think it's easier in Resolve to do it that way. Like we were selective coloring our sky. You can pick that color sky and rotate it around whatever kind of color you want. But yeah, I find that it's easier in Resolve, but you can do it in Premiere. It's not impossible.
Love it. You got a lot of thanks coming your way. James says, amazing. Thank you. Have a great flight. Darren says, thanks, Josh. Safe flight to New York. M. Jones.
Thank you.
He says, free is always good. I agree with that.
Man, thanks so much.
And I want to remind you guys that this class was free. Joshua donated his time to do this. So I know it wasn't perfect. It was our first time doing a class via StreamYard. I think it worked really well. Joshua, you were great. We'll figure out ways to make the screen bigger if we do this again.
Yes.
But thank you so much, and we will let you get on with your day as I give you guys some upcoming events. Thank you so much, Joshua.
Thanks, guys, so much. That was great. Thanks, Jen.
So everybody else, if you do need the files, Dropbox cut us off. There were like too many of you. You're done. So please email us at info@blackmagiccollective.com if you still want to play with those files and watch the tutorial again, and we will get those to you. We want to remind you, we are a volunteer-run organization, and if anybody wants to help out, especially those of you who are in the chapter cities, Austin, Atlanta, New York, New England, and then, of course, LA, if you really want to, we need help with live events that are going to be starting again soon, thank goodness. Please reach out. Again, info@blackmagiccollective.com. We're also looking for blog filmmakers, especially you guys in post. We haven't featured any post people. So if you're interested in writing a blog for us on your process, on what you do, on a project you did, please reach out because we want to feature you. We feature 2 filmmakers every month, and we haven't seen any post people, so email us. Finally, our next event is May 6th. It's gaming streamers. So basically, we're going to talk to people who stream and they make money doing it by playing video games and tabletop games and role-playing games. And we're going to talk about how they set up, how they do it, how they get the green screen, all that good stuff. Following that, there'll be an all-chapter BMC face-off, BMC chapter face-off. So basically, the top film cities I just mentioned are going to be on a panel facing off on who's the best city for what, how do you film there, and kind of compare cities, because a lot of us are considered moving in the pandemic and going to a new city. So that's going to be great. So get on the newsletter, because if you're not joined, if you're not a member of BMC, you're not going to know when those events are. Also follow us on our socials. We keep you updated there. May newsletter is going to be coming out very soon. So go over there and join at blackmagiccollective.com. And what else? Black Magic Collective Film Festival. Reminder on that. If you have your 5-minute list films, please submit. Like and follow us on socials. Our new Facebook group. I want to get you guys in there asking questions, doing the stuff you were doing here today in the comments and helping each other. Let's bring that to the group because it's so incredibly helpful. Thank you again to our sponsor, Black Magic Design. I don't know. You're great. You're awesome. Are we doing a giveaway today? I think we are. We have a winner. Winner. Chicken dinner is the winner of Resolve. You get a whole seat of Resolve, the studio version for free, is Marlon Royal Reed. So Marlon, congratulations. We will email you to follow up. And that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for sticking around. Thank you for our patience as we tried to do this new class thing. I think it's fun. We're going to keep growing and making it work. And that's it. We'll see you at our next event.